welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well today. So today's video is going to be a fun one. I'm really excited because I've put together a few ideas for holiday gifts to sew, and all of these gifts are themed around the idea of self-care. So they could work really well on their own, but they could also pair with other gifts as well if you wanted to just add a handmade touch. So I'm going to be making a silk pillowcase and sleep set, as well as a makeup bag and a makeup brush roll, and I think they all turned out really cute, so I'm excited to share these projects with you today and hopefully give you some ideas of some gifts you can make this holiday season. Now, something that I think would go so well with any of these handmade gifts, if you wanted to add something on in addition to the handmade part of the gift, is a beauty product or beauty service, and I'm so excited to be working with Kinder Beauty on today's video. They very kindly sponsored this video. Kinder Beauty is a clean beauty subscription box, and they have some amazing products and brands that come inside these boxes. I love subscription boxes. I think they can make wonderful gifts because it's so exciting to see what you get month to month, and the products that they include are amazing. This box is as little as $23 a month, and they've also very kindly given me a coupon code for you guys, so you can get 50% off the cost of your first box if you are a new subscriber, and that coupon code will be on the screen here. But let me show you what's in the November box. Whichever month you sign up is the box that you will receive, so it will be different products depending on the month, but let me show you what was in this box. So first up we have the Jasmine Beauty Coastin highlighter, and I think this is so pretty. I can't wait to use this. I love this color. It would make a really nice blush, I think, for me. And this is a $28 value, so that's already higher than the cost of the box. Then next we have this amazing hand cream. I've already tried this. It has aloe and hyaluronic acid in it. This retails for $14. This one I am so excited about. This is the Liliana Naturals Retinol Serum, and this retails for $27.99. I love retinol. It's one of my favorite ingredients to use, so I am really excited about this one. I love this product so much. I've already been using this, and this would be such a good pairing with something like a silk pillowcase because this is a meditation mist. This is peppermint and sage. It smells so good, and I just love spraying this on my pillow so that I can breathe in the nice scent. And then the final product is this soap here, which I think is so cute. I love the packaging on this one. Now, if you sign up for the 6-month subscription, you'll get each box for $23, but you will also get a free box that's valued at $138. So keep that in mind if you're looking at subscribing. So I will have all the information for Kinder Beauty linked down in the description box below. Thank you again to Kinder Beauty for sponsoring today's video, and let's jump into these sewing projects. So let's start by making a silk sleep set. First, I'm going to make this silk pillowcase, and silk pillowcases tend to be quite expensive, but you can get all of these projects out of 1 yard of silk. So I have a yard of silk charmeuse, as well as a 22-inch invisible zipper, and some silk thread that I'm going to use for embroidery, but that is totally optional. So I'm starting by cutting out 2 rectangles of my fabric. These rectangles are 21 by 28 inches, and this will be the front and back of the pillowcase. I decided to add some embroidery to my pillowcase, and so I'm going to mark the center on 1/2 here just by creasing this. That way I can make sure that I align my embroidery in the center of the pillowcase. And then I'm going to be using an embroidery machine today. This is actually mine and my sister's shared machine that was with her when she was living in a different city for a while, but we have it here now, so I thought I would take advantage of it and use it. So I'm putting the fabric in the embroidery hoop, and then I'm going to go into my machine. This is quite an old embroidery machine, so you'll see it loads kind of slowly, but it still works really well. And I'm just adding a monogram here, and I'm going to use the machine to embroider this onto the fabric. I am using tearaway stabilizer with the embroidery machine here, and I did make sure to test this beforehand on a scrap of silk fabric just to see what the settings needed to be on, because this is quite a delicate fabric and I didn't want to mess it up once I had started with the embroidery. And with the embroidery done, I can go ahead and trim all of these threads and then tear away the stabilizer very carefully from the back. You could definitely embroider by hand if you don't have an embroidery machine, or just skip this altogether, but I think it's a nice extra detail. So now I'm going to use the serger to clean up all of the edges on both of the rectangles of fabric before we sew them together. You could definitely use a zigzag stitch if you don't have a serger. So now it's time to add the zipper. So you just want to make sure that the zipper is one that is long enough to go across one of the shorter edges of the fabric. So mine here is 22, which is actually a little bit longer than the pillowcase itself. This is an invisible zipper, so I'm working with a color that doesn't quite match, but you won't really be able to tell in the end. And this is what I had on hand. Since I'm making this as a gift for myself, I decided it was okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pin my zipper on one half of the pillowcase and then pin the other half of the zipper to the other half of the pillowcase, making sure that the zipper isn't twisted and that everything is aligned. Then I'll sew this in place using the zipper foot on my sewing machine. I'm going to give the fabric a quick press where the zipper is, and then I can go ahead and place the right sides of the fabric together. So now we can sew this into an actual pillowcase. So I'm going to pin around all of the other sides of the pillowcase, and then I can sew this together on those three sides. As I'm doing this, I'm making sure that the zipper is open on the side where I sewed the zipper, because I need that to be open so that I can turn this right side out. And when I sew this together, I will make sure to sew over that zipper edge very carefully, but make sure that everything is encased properly. I'm sewing this with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, and whenever I get to a corner, I will lower my needle like this and then raise the presser foot in order to turn the fabric so that I can have a really clean corner. I'm going to trim any stray threads, and then I can turn the pillowcase right side out and give it a press on all of those edges that we just sewed together. So that is all there is to this project. Definitely a quick one to do. It takes a little bit of patience working with the silk fabric, but the end result is so pretty, and I love how this one turned out. Now I had quite a bit of leftover silk fabric from that 1 yard, so let's make a few more accessories using the leftover fabric. First up is this sleep mask, and I have this free template available over on my website if you'd like to download it. I went ahead and embroidered this leftover fabric with these Z's, which I think is really cute, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out my template here. Now if I were to do this again, I would trace the template onto the fabric because it moved around quite a bit, and I think you'll see that in the final result. This could definitely be a little bit cleaner on my part. It's a little bit crooked in the end. I'm just going to cut 2 of these pieces out of the fabric, and then I'm also going to cut out a strip of fabric that can be the band to go with the sleep mask. The strip of fabric that I'm cutting out for the back band of the sleep mask is 15 inches by 2.5 inches. And then for the elastic, I'm just going to measure some elastic that fits comfortably from one ear to the other ear along the back of my head, and then add a little bit of extra around 1 inch on either end. I'm also going to cut the template out of a layer of batting. You could use felt or a towel, anything that will give it a little bit of fluffiness. To sew this together, I'm going to start by folding the right sides together on the strip of fabric and sewing this into a tube. I am using a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance here, and I'm just going to sew all the way across. Now I'm going to use a safety pin to turn this tube of fabric right side out and then press this flat. I'm also going to use the same safety pin to thread the elastic through the tube to give it a little bit of stretchiness. So now I'm going to layer the front piece of fabric over the batting, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin the elastic band in place. You can see I have that little extra inch of elastic hanging off the edge here. That's just to make sure everything is really secure. And then I'm going to go baste this in place. Once I've basted that in place, I can trim away that excess elastic, and then I'm going to layer the other half of the mask on top of this with the right sides together. And then I can sew this all together, kind of like a sandwich of fabric and batting and elastic. I'm going to make sure to leave a gap as I sew around so that I can turn this right side out though. If you're doing this out of silk, I would be really careful because I did find it to be a little bit slippery, which I think resulted in it looking a little bit sloppy in the end. I think it's a lot easier with a cotton fabric. I did use a 1/4 inch seam allowance to sew this together, and I'm going to trim away some of that excess fabric and batting before turning this right side out. Then I'm going to press this nice and flat and make sure that it's looking as neat as possible, and make sure to turn the edges of that gap that we left in the fabric towards the inside of the mask. Then finally, to finish it off, I'm just going to top stitch all the way around the outside edge to catch that little bit of open fabric and sew everything together and just make it look a little bit more tidy. And that is all there is to this project. It's definitely a quick and easy one, and while I think I could have done a better job, it's still really cute, and I think it would be a nice addition to the rest of these items. So now let's make a couple of silk scrunchies. I love silk scrunchies. They're really nice for not damaging your hair, and I'm going to make them in a couple of different widths today. You can see I still have quite a lot of fabric here, so you could make a lot of scrunchies with the rest of this fabric. I'm going to just make 2 for now though. So for the width of this fabric, I'm going to do one that is 3 inches wide and one that is 2 inches wide, and then the length for these strips of fabric is 18 inches long. The first thing I'm going to do is just fold in one edge of the scrunchie, making sure that the right side is folding in, and I'm going to press that down. This will just allow it to be a really nice clean edge here once we finish the rest of the hair tie. And then I'm going to sew these into a tube just like I did on the sleep mask. So I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance here just to keep things a little bit less bulky. And then I'm going to use a safety pin to turn these tubes of fabric right side out. After giving these a quick press, I can go ahead and add the elastic. So I've cut two 9-inch strips of 1/4 inch elastic, and I'm going to thread this through using the safety pin. Once I finish threading this through the scrunchie, I can just knot the two ends of the elastic securely together and trim any excess. I'm going to pull on the elastic just to adjust the fabric to be a little bit more evenly distributed, and then I'm going to tuck the raw edge of the scrunchie into that folded over edge. You can see I used my scissors there to help with that. It's a little bit easier on the wider ones. Then all I have to do is sew this edge together. You could do this by hand if you wanted it to be invisible. I just used the machine, and I think they turned out really, really cute. Next, let's make this makeup brush roll. You could also do this as a knitting needle or crochet hook roll if you have a friend who's crafty. So I'm going to cut out two rectangles of fabric that are 9 inches by 10 inches. And this fabric is really cool. It's a pre-quilted one, so it has some nice texture to it, which I think is really, really nice. And I love the print as well. So I also have a piece of ribbon here. You could use ribbon or twine, whatever you want. And this is going to be what ties it together in the end. So I'm going to attach that to one side in 2 places. And then I've cut 2 pieces of elastic that I'm going to sew to the inside piece. And I'm just going to sew this around every 1 inch or so to make the little spaces for the makeup brushes. I decided to use 2 pieces just because it seemed a little bit more secure. With the elastic and ribbon attached, I can go ahead and sew the 2 pieces together. So I'm going to place these together with the right sides together and sew all the way around the edge, leaving a space to turn this right side out. Next, I'm going to trim away any excess seam allowance to reduce the bulk, and then I can turn this to the right side and press it flat. I'm going to make sure that that opening is folded to the inside, and then I can top stitch all the way around the outside edge of the makeup brush roll. So now I'm just going to tie the ribbon into a bow and then trim it to my desired length, and that's all there is to this project. I think it's so cute, but it's really quick and easy, so definitely one that is doable at the last minute. And then last up today, let's make this cute, really simple makeup pouch. I'm using the same fabric from the last project, and I've cut out 2 rectangles that are 15 by 9.5 inches. I have this vintage zipper that I'll be using for this project, and I think the green is really cute with the fabric. So starting by working with just one of the rectangles of fabric, I'm going to attach this zipper to the short edges of the rectangle. So I am placing the zipper face down on the right side of the fabric and pinning this in place. And then I'll do the same exact thing on the other side of the same rectangle. So here is how it looks with the zipper pinned in place, kind of like a tube of fabric now, and I'm just going to sew the zipper down. So now I'm going to attach the other rectangle, which will become the lining. So I'm placing this against the zipper with the right sides of the fabric together, the right side of the outside and the right side of the inside. And I'm sandwiching the zipper in between. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side of the zipper as well. And you can see it becomes almost like these two pouches with the zipper in the middle. So now it looks like this giant tube of fabric, but you can see that zipper is in between each side here. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the zipper in place through all layers of fabric. So I have the zipper unzipped here, and I'm going to go ahead and sew the side seams. On the side that does not have the zipper pull, I will sew all the way across, but on the side that does have the zipper pull, I will leave a gap to turn this to the right side. So now I can turn the bag right side out and then go ahead and sew up the opening that I left here. I'm going to use my machine to do that. You could do it by hand if you wanted it to be invisible. I'm going to use my iron just to give this bag a quick press, and here is how the zipper looks. I think it's so cute with that pop of green, and I love the quilted fabric as well. So this is a very simple style of pouch to sew, and I think it turned out really cute. It also holds quite a bit as well. It's a good size for makeup. So that is all the projects that I have to share with you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I think my favorite one was the silk pillowcase, and I did make that as a gift for myself, so I'm excited to use that. And I just love the color of that fabric as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you decide to make any of these projects. I would love to see how they turn out, and you can tag me over on Instagram if you do make them. I would love to see them. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time here on my channel today. If you're new to my channel, you can go ahead and subscribe by clicking the button down below, and I would love to have you back for all of my future sewing and thrifting content. Thank you again for spending your time here on my channel today, and thank you again to Kinder Beauty for sponsoring this video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!